My girlfriend cheated on me at one of her best friend's weddings and said she did it so she could get everything out of her system to be the best woman she could be for me. So, I am 33, met my ex, Ashley 28F, about 6 years ago after she got out of a toxic relationship and moved back in with her mom. She had dropped out of college when she got pregnant her senior year, and her ex cheated on her and got physically abusive. That's when she finally decided to leave him for good. A mutual friend, Lisa, who was married to my buddy Jake, introduced us. We hit it off immediately, and a few months later, Ashley and her son, Noah, moved in with me. The first few years were great. I helped her get back on her feet, and she went back to school to finish her degree. My uncle even helped her get a job at his company after she graduated. Things were looking up for both of us. About a year ago, Ashley started reconnecting with old friends from her sorority. She began going out for girls' nights every other weekend, which turned into her also grabbing drinks with coworkers after work sometimes. I didn't love it, but whenever I brought it up, she'd get super defensive, and we'd end up fighting about it. I tried to ignore it until Lisa pulled Jake aside and told him that Ashley was acting inappropriate on their nights out, flirting way too much with random guys. Jake gave me a heads up, and that's when I decided to check it out for myself. One night, I showed up at the bar unannounced. Sure enough, I saw Ashley laughing and flirting with some guy, letting him put his hands on her waist. I walked right up, told the guy to get his hands off my girlfriend, and told Ashley it was time to go. The ride home was brutal. We fought the whole way, and she slept on the couch that night. The next morning, she apologized, saying she'd just had too much to drink. I wasn't buying it, so I told her that if we were going to move forward, we needed to go to couples counseling. Girls' nights were off the table for a while, and things seemed to get better after that. But a couple of months ago, things took a turn. Ashley started acting secretive, especially with her phone. She'd leave the room to answer calls or suddenly stop texting when I walked in. I confronted her, but she denied everything, saying I was being paranoid. That's when I decided to talk to Lisa and Jake again. After some convincing, Lisa finally admitted that Ashley had been flirting with an old college flame. When Lisa confronted her about it, Ashley said something like, "As long as I keep both of them happy and don't get caught, what's the harm?" That hit me like a ton of bricks. Ashley saw me as this great provider and a good father figure for Noah, but apparently that wasn't enough for her anymore. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, Ashley was invited to be a bridesmaid at one of her friends' weddings. We had planned to go together, but Noah came down with an ear infection, and I stayed home to take care of him while she flew out. The wedding was in another city, so she was gone for a few days. After the rehearsal dinner, Jake texted me and said Ashley's old college boyfriend had shown up and that she was being super inappropriate with him. Flirting, touching, the works. He even sent me a photo of them making out at the hotel. I couldn't just sit at home. I called Ashley's mom to watch Noah and made the drive to the wedding. 6 hours later, I finally arrived. I knocked on her hotel room door, and after a few tries, she opened up, wrapped in a bathrobe. I stepped inside and immediately saw her old fling naked in bed. I introduced myself, told him to get lost, and then turned to Ashley, who was still in her robe. She tried to spin it, but at that point, I'd had enough. I told her we were done. I walked out and didn't look back. When I got home, I packed up all her stuff. The next morning, I found her Victoria's Secret drawer, the stuff we'd bought together, and threw it all in a box with her party clothes and sent it to Goodwill. A few days later, she called me when she landed, but I'd blocked her number. She had to take an Uber back. When she walked in, there were boxes of her and Noah's stuff waiting for her. I told her that Noah was staying with her mom and that she could get her things and leave. She tried to argue, but I didn't want to hear it. She even tried to take one of the cars, but I reminded her both were in my name and that I'd report it stolen if she took one. Her mom eventually came by to help move her things out, and we exchanged a few words, but it was clear I was done. That was about a week ago. Jake and Lisa have cut Ashley out of their lives after what happened at the wedding. Apparently, the drama I caused spilled over into the next day and ruined the whole vibe. Ashley's reached out a couple of times trying to explain, but I've made it clear there's no going back. I'm not angry anymore, just empty. I go to work, come home, eat, and try to sleep. It feels like I'm stuck in a fog, unsure of what comes next. Update. Got a text from my uncle this morning saying that Ashley was fired. Apparently, she didn't take it well and made a scene, so they had security escort her out as she packed up her things. I'm sure she'll find a way to pin it on me eventually, like everything else. By Wednesday, I'd finally managed to clear all her stuff out of the house and block her on every platform. Then, Thursday rolls around and I get this long handwritten letter from her. 2 pages of regret, saying how she made the biggest mistake of her life and thought she just needed to get things out of her system before she could fully commit to me. Promises, apologies, the whole guilt trip. That same day, I also got an email from one of the bridesmaids, thanking me for the wedding gift and offering her condolences after the hotel incident. Apparently, Ashley's fling had a girlfriend who wasn't at the earlier events but flew in for the actual wedding. She'd been expecting to show up with him, only to find out he'd ghosted her after the drama. After talking to Ashley's mom again, we both agreed it'd be better for me to step away from Noah's life entirely. I didn't want him being used as a weapon in any of this, and it's not fair to him. Her mom was heartbroken, asked some tough questions, and was clearly disappointed in her daughter. I think their relationship took a serious hit over this whole mess. One of Ashley's old friends, Laura, reached out and we grabbed dinner the other night. She was very supportive and kept saying I deserved better, going on about how embarrassed Ashley had made herself and how none of their old group wanted anything to do with her now. Most of the conversation was about me, how I was feeling, what I was doing to move forward. By the end of the meal, she suggested we hang out again, maybe grab a drink or catch a movie sometime. Definitely felt like she was testing the waters. I've also been making some changes at home, rearranged the living room, tossed some old decorations, and switched out all the lighting for remote-controlled LEDs with color settings. Just wanted the place to feel different, fresh. I'm planning to repaint Noah's old room soon and turn it into a guest room. On top of that, I joined a new gym and signed up for personal training sessions. My trainer is a bit of a sadist, but it's keeping me busy, keeping my mind off things. Tonight, I'm meeting up with some friends at our favorite bar. Figured it's time to start moving forward.